Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions as we just walk through the Word of God together and learn wonderful things from the law. This is the Thursday of Holy Week. I'd ask that you please go to Facebook and pull down all of the scriptures that recount the activities and the words of Jesus on that first Thursday and read those in addition to your normal reading. It's a day off. The shopping malls are all closed, so spend some extra time in the Word today. For our devotional thought today, though, I want to take you back to a thought on transitions of leadership from Deuteronomy chapter 17. In Deuteronomy 17, beginning with verse 6, we find that Moses, hundreds of years before things happened, said, now this is going to be the period of the judges. And then beginning with verse 14 and following, he talks about there's going to come a day you're going to ask for a king. And now these are the laws of kings. Now, what I want you to focus on today is that beautiful little thought beginning with verse 18 through the end of the chapter, where it talks about what a king is to do as his first act. When he takes the throne of the kingdom, he is to write for himself, his own handwriting. He's to go get a scroll and write for himself on a scroll a copy of this law, taken from that of the priests who are the Levites. Wow. His first act was to write in his own handwriting a copy of the Bible. Wow. Now, what was the purpose of that? Well, there's a little bit more first. And it will be with him, and he is to read it all the days of his life. He was to write a copy of the law. He was to keep it with him all of his days, and he is to read it every single day. Now, what was the purpose of reading it every day? Number one, so that he may learn to revere the Lord his God. Number two, and follow carefully all the words of this law and these decrees. Number three, and not consider himself better than his brothers. Number four, and not turn from the law to the right or to the left. Now there's four effects of knowing the Word of God, reading the Word of God every day. Now a couple of them, let me just highlight. Number one, he says, then he will revere the Lord. Do you wonder why people have no respect for God today? They don't read the Bible. You wonder why Christians, they can go to church, but they have no respect for God. They do not fear God. You say, Pastor, how can you say that? Well, to fear God is to hate sin. If you and I are living a life of compromise and sin, we have no fear of God in us. We have no respect for God. One of the things that creates a fear of God, a respect for God in us, is that we read His Word every day. As you read His Word every day, you will respect Him. A second thing is, then you won't think that you're better than your other brothers and sisters. See, when you read the Bible every day, you realize, I'm no better than anybody else. It keeps your feet firmly planted on the ground. Oftentimes, people in positions of leadership begin to think that somehow they're better, or they're special, or the rules don't apply to them. But when you read the Bible every day, you begin to realize, I'm just like everybody else. I need God's forgiveness in my life. I need God's grace in my life. I need God to change me. It's a beautiful thing about true humility. So just look at those two things. Respect for God and true humility flows from reading the Bible cover to cover every day. Let me encourage you. Please, you've made it through the first quarter of the year. Let's keep going and let this be a habit every day for the rest of your life, to read the entire Bible.